Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your July 2021 Astro Update. It's Rena here, Sun in Sag, Mercury in Sag. This is for the Sun and Rising signs. I should say that all the time. I think a lot of people understand that about astrology, but it doesn't hurt to say it. So, I think that, and this is, of course, this is true every year, obviously, but when the sun goes into a fire sign, that is so great for Sag because, whether it's Aries or in this case, Leo, and of course, our own sign, but, those other signs, it forms a trine. And a trine is considered an easy aspect. I don't say good aspect, bad aspects, because you could take it easy and totally be on autopilot and not even lifting a finger, thinking that everything's going to just drop in your lap. Well, with a trine, you might not be too far off, but I feel like you always have to bring yourself to life, obviously. But good things can still happen to us, and sometimes they just come to us, that's for sure. And so I would say that in the second half of the month, or the last 10 days of the month, we can especially see this occurring. But even as the month begins, we have Venus in Leo. So Venus is a benefic planet. There again, that good, bad stuff, according to Vedic astrology. So it's supposed to be this bearer of good stuff. And it's certainly, if you look at the downside of Venus, it's being indulgent, being, what else? Yeah, I think indulgent really covers it. I can't think of another negative thing, but with Jupiter, of course, being the ruler of Sag, that could definitely occur. But in general, it's going to be really good. And you're looking at it in Leo, so it's a trine, so it certainly is great. And what is the for Sag, Leo is the ninth house. Now that is Sag's house. So that also is important to note, is that Venus is going to be in the house that Sag rules. And this is the house of expansion. So we could be talking about mental expansion in the form of higher learning. And of course, college is the one that's always mentioned, but any kind of, even like if it has some kind of spiritual, religious theme to it, it's going to be philosophical. It's going to not be this basic type of information, so that will qualify. Abstract knowledge, in other words. And this is also great for if you're traveling. This is the house of long distance travel. Maybe it's like, I keep saying this is kind of corny, but how Stella got her groove back, go on vacation, meet somebody. But yeah, taking pleasure, a pleasure cruise, but traveling, and really finding it pleasurable, not just a lot of Sages, when they travel, they may really stimulate their minds. They want to know the history and the language, but this is maybe something where your senses are engaged, like you're in tropical paradise or something like that. Making money through publishing, writing. Ninth house can be as well. On the 9th, there's a new moon at 18 degrees of Cancer, and Cancer for Sag is the 8th house. And so this is like the phoenix rising from the ashes. This is, I know that's overly dramatic, but the 8th house is Scorpio's house. So there's that sense of transformation, and new moons are, ripe for transformation. So this combination is really good for setting intentions about things that you would like to do to change your life at a fundamental level, not superficially. This is not a superficial area. This is also the house of the occult, and I really don't like that word because of people putting down stuff like that, but we'll say metaphysical studies. And astrology and the tarot qualify for this house, and you might be wanting to take some kind of courses, or if you already know what you're doing, maybe you're going to launch your own YouTube channel or something, or just business, doing it for people. So that's a very interesting development. Anything that is about transformation or getting beneath the surface and investigating. If you're somebody who is studying psychology, or you already have a degree, maybe you're going to be putting it into practice. What else here? On the 11th, Mercury goes into this house. So this is like a very probing type of a mind. I have the sun in the 8th house in my natal chart. And so in your natal chart, you may have planets there as well. And so if you do, you will know that gives you kind of a scorpionic tendency as it is. So Mercury in the 8th house can be somebody who really is trying to get to the bottom of something. Now, this can be just plain old research on anything, but you might be studying metaphysical topics. But it could be conspiracy theories, anything that is hidden, forbidden knowledge is just right up your alley. Mysteries, reading mysteries. It just reminded me of that Billy Idol song, and he said, I'm on a train reading mystery books or something, I don't know. Okay. Oh, one thing about this house is shared resources. So you may hear news, Mercury can be news about money and an inheritance. You get some kind of document, what have you. On the 21st, on the 21st, Venus goes into Virgo, and so Virgo is a fellow mutable sign, and it happens to be before Sag, so we're talking about the 10th house of career. Venus here makes things nice. So money can increase from your career. Maybe you get a raise. You can experience popularity. This is the top of your chart. This is you at the top of your game. Maybe you are dealing with the public. You have charm, grace, dealing with people in positions of power. This is the house of authority figures. So you could be charming the pants off of one or more of them, hopefully just figuratively, not having an affair with the boss, because this is, that could be, that really could be. Or meeting somebody through your career. But yeah, that's really good for career developments. On the 22nd, the sun, and that can also confer popularity too. On the 22nd, the sun goes into Leo, so that's very nice. Makes a nice trine to the sun or your ascendant in Sag. And in the first house, that sense of vitality, physical vitality, why did I say the first house? I'm thinking of Sag. In the ninth house, we could say, even if you are stepping into the role of something that is having to do with teaching at a university and maybe even traveling to do so. Or teaching English as a second language or something like that, and travel is part of that. On the 23rd, we have a full moon at 1 degree of Aquarius. We're going to have a couple of these puppies. And the second one will be considered a blue moon, but this first one is only at 1 degree of Aquarius. So even though Aquarius for Sag is the third house, and this is the house of teaching and learning communication, for most of you, this may actually fall in the second house of earned income and can be maybe like increased income again. So that could indicate some kind of, what do you call it, a raise. And if you have quit a job, it's the end of that source of income. It can be getting money that has been coming to you for a while. If it is falling in your third house, if you're born like with the cusp, or you're just like of Scorpio, you're like 0 or 1 degree of Aquarius, and it happens to be in that third house, that could be like ending some kind of training that you're doing. Perhaps you are, this is the area of teaching. So maybe you're leaving a school district, or maybe leaving the profession of teaching. Who knows? But something that is coming to a culmination, to a head. You might be just hearing some kind of news that, reveals something important to you, or having a spiritual download. That could be it as well. So this might be about your life as a whole. And on the 27th, Mercury goes into Leo. So Mercury's in that 9th house. This is great for learning foreign languages, speaking to a lawyer about a matter. And again, if there's any kind of inheritance issues, that could be speaking to a lawyer about that, or any kind of legal matters. Speaking to universities, there might be some financial aid situation going on. Teaching at a university, writing, publishing matters. On the 28th, Jupiter goes back into Aquarius. So Jupiter has briefly gone into the 4th house, and it's going to go back into the 3rd house. So this, gives you more opportunities to take advantage of good things happening in that particular house. This is actually going to be going on for the rest of this year. Jupiter will turn direct in October, but still in that 3rd house. And so for Sag, this is wonderful for writing projects and communicating things. So, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of Sag have these things maybe on the back burner. Well, they come on the front burner at this time, because they're just something that you really have been wanting to do. So, just even when Jupiter's retrograde, it can still be something that could be favorable to you. on the 29th, Mars goes into Virgo, so Mars goes into that 10th house. So, it's pretty early for Virgo transits. We're only talking about July, but, not unusual. But Mars in the 10th with Venus, that's, ambition for career matters. And you could be feeling like you really want to work hard and be successful. And you're very driven. Be careful. In a similar vein, be careful because it might mean that you are fighting with your authority figures. Maybe you're kind of challenging them, having a sense of rebellion, feeling like you have the ability to, or you should be able to call the shots. With Mars, there's that sense of, who's the boss here, who's in control, that warrior energy. So, and the 10th house is because it's connected to ambition. It can really feel like, oh man, I really want to make it. And sometimes that leads to becoming overly aggressive. So just keep that in mind. Okay, that's what I have for you, Sag. I hope that resonated. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.